very venerable Bodhicharya Rinpoche asked me to say a few words Dharma teaching for you, and I will try. But you have a great master of pure lineage, His Eminence Sindhu Lim, Very Venerable Bodhicharya Rinpoche. So you receive teaching from them, and if you keep the samaya and practice the Dharma, then there is nothing extra you can get from me. But because my beloved Rinpoche asked me to say something, then I decided to say something. As you know, Dharma is manifestation of Buddha. You cannot separate Buddha and Dharma. And Dharma is continued by Sangha, the masters. You cannot separate Dharma from Sangha. And Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is one, is your Guru. Here, you know who I'm talking about. His Eminence Sandhya Rinpoche and very venerable Bodhicharya Rinpoche. They're your Guru. They represent Buddha because you and I cannot see the Buddha. Only the statues and relics. Therefore, they represent Buddha. We cannot hear the word of Dharma from the Buddha. That opportunity ceased more than 2,500 years ago. So they represent the Dharma. And they are the Sangha. So this way, they represent Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Now, as a Buddhist, number one thing you have to know is what is Buddha. If you don't know what is Buddha, then you are not Buddhist. You are pretending to be Buddhist, but you are not, because you don't know what you are talking about. When you say, I'd like to reach Buddhahood, you don't know what is Buddha, then what are you talking about? So you have to know what is Buddha first. The Buddha, by definition, is one who reached ultimate liberation and limitless freedom by fully realizing the ultimate essence of himself and everything. That is Buddha. Buddha is not just some kind of smart person who knows how to talk. Buddha is not some kind of charismatic person who you get attracted to. Buddha is not some kind of thinker who managed to think about things that we cannot think. Buddha is just like us at the beginning, and because of countless lifetimes of purification and accumulation, and finally, through meditation, he reached the ultimate destination, which is no different from your destination and my destination. You can become Buddha, I can become Buddha, and every creature that lives on your body can become Buddha. Okay? So, every sentient being has chance to become Buddha. From God to hell. Everybody have the potential to be free. Everybody has potential to be Buddha. One who reaches that is what we call Buddha. And if we know Buddha, then if we wish to become Buddha, then we are Buddhist. And Mahayana Buddhist. And we wish to become Buddha by practicing the highest form of Lord Buddha's teaching, the Tantric Buddhism, then we are Vajrayana Buddhist. And we wanted to follow the most basic teachings of Buddha, the basic discipline. This is good, this is bad, you must do this, you cannot do that, and strictly based on that, then you are Theravada. So, the Theravada, the Mahayana, the Vajrayana are the three different manifestations of Lord Buddha's teaching. I wouldn't even say Buddha taught Dharma. I wouldn't even say that, because that's not correct. I am teaching Dharma. When Rinpoche asked me to talk, first of all, I think, what kind of people are listening? And when I came here, I saw your faces. I see lots of people. For my past 53 years of life, I saw lots of people. So, by seeing people's faces, I know a little bit about what they are thinking. It doesn't mean I am enlightened. It doesn't mean I am omniscient. But I have been dealing with people all my life. So, eyes cannot lie. Eye is just like the lens of a camera. Cannot lie. So, now I know what kind of people I'm talking to. Okay? So therefore, I'm talking about the Guru first. Then I talk about the Buddha second. Now, I talk about the Dharma. Why on earth you want to be Buddhist? Tell me. Why on earth you want to be Buddhist? You can be so many things. You can be agnostics, believer of ignorance. And you can be free thinker. And you can be non-believer. That means you have to believe in everything. When you don't believe in one thing, you have to believe in everything. That's a very big belief. But anyway, you can be that also. But out of all of those choices, you decided to be Buddhist. So, why you become Buddhist is because you want to become Buddha. If that is true, then you are truly Vajrayana Buddhist and Mahayana Buddhist. You are. And if that is not the reason, then you are not Vajrayana Buddhist, you are not Mahayana Buddhist. In order to be Mahayana Buddhist, you have to have Bodhicitta. In order to be Vajrayana Buddhist, you must have Bodhicitta. Vajrayana Mahayana Buddhist without Bodhicitta is very, very, very dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous. Because you have no motivation, but you have the methods. You don't have purpose, but you have the means. You know what I'm talking about? A crazy doctor. You know? Do you like to be operated by a crazy doctor? And you wanted to have a bypass by a crazy doctor? And do you like to be represented in the court by a crazy lawyer? And you want to fly in a big aeroplane piloted by a crazy pilot? I don't think so. I don't think so. So therefore, our bodhicitta is our driver, our doctor, our lawyer, our pilot. If we have our bodhicitta clear and decisive, not wishy-washy, clear and decisive, then we are free from all possibilities of downfalls and shortcomings. So what is that bodhicitta? I'm sure you have learned from my beloved Rinpoches. But I remind you one more time. These days people have very short memory. Because there is so many out there who pushing themselves into your life to think for you. You know? And they will do the memory service for you. Megabytes and gigabytes of memories, you know. So you don't have to memorize, you don't have to remember anything. They remember for you. So as a result, we managed to become expert of not remembering. Now, I want you to refresh your memory of what is bodhicitta. I wish to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings to attain Buddhahood. That is bodhicitta. The compassion, loving kindness, joy, impartiality, all of them goes in it, goes with it. But compassion by itself, you cannot become, you are not a bodhisattva. Compassion, just itself, most vicious animal, you know, tyrannosaurus will not eat their own offspring. They have compassion. Right? So compassion is a good thing. But Bodhisattva's compassion is a very special compassion. Your compassion is limitless. Not just for poor and sick and underprivileged, but it is also for poor and sick and underprivileged as well as rich and healthy and highly privileged. For everyone. And compassion is not related to apparent suffering only. It is for apparent suffering as well as sentient beings who are totally drunk by happiness. Gods in the heaven have no suffering. They are superior to us. Their body is superior to us. Their speech is us. Their mind is superior to us. They don't think like we think. You know? Whatever they want, it just appears in front of them. Whatever they want. For us, whatever we want, run away from us. We have to chase after them like mad. But God's in the heaven, whatever they want appears in front of them. And they have no suffering. But our compassion includes them as well. So, the Bodhicitta is for all sentient beings. Of course, gods in the heaven have suffering when they know that this is the end of them being a god. You know? And they know the future. They are not like us. They don't have to carry a notebook. They know the future. They know the past. So they know where they are going next time. And anything is worse than what they can ever imagine. So anything is bad. So therefore, they will suffer at that time, at the end. But gods will live tens of thousands of centuries. So our compassion goes for highest to the lowest, as well as everything in between. So that is Bodhicitta, compassion. Now, in Vajrayana, that has to go together with devotion. Because compassion without devotion, in truth, that is not possible. But we are so tricky. We are so much of an expert to lie to ourselves. So therefore, we can have lots of compassion and no devotion at all. That is amazing, but that's possible. Why do I say that? Compassion is ego-friendly, isn't it? You know, I sit here on this big throne. You know, you sit down there on the floor. I have compassion for you. Right? And then you think you're so fortunate to be in the Holy Land here. And then you have compassion to those who have no opportunities to be here. You have compassion to them. So compassion is from above to below. It's good. It's good. But it is ego-friendly. But devotion is definitely not ego-friendly. You know? Devotion is not. Therefore, once you have genuine compassion, then you will have genuine devotion naturally. Because you know where you stand. To whom? No. Who have more devotion and more compassion than you, you have devotion to them. Who have less compassion and less devotion than you, you have compassion to them. And who have same devotion and same compassion like you have loving kindness to them. Devotion, compassion, loving kindness. You know? So this is the definition of devotion and compassion. And in Mahayana, compassion is very strongly emphasized. Of course, devotion is also emphasized, but in Vajrayana, devotion is more emphasized. Of course, compassion is emphasized. Now, why do we have to have compassion and devotion? Why do we have to have compassion and devotion? Why don't we just become Buddha, Just become Buddha. Don't bother about compassion and devotion. Just become Buddha. I wish it would work, but I don't think so. Because why we are not Buddha right now is because of duality. We have so much differences between us and everything else. Me and my friend. You and your friend. And me and my property. And you and your property. So this is very basic thing. We Buddhists, you non-Buddhists, this division, duality. So how do we overcome this? How do we overcome this? We can overcome this. The easiest way is by devotion and compassion. The compassion makes you closer to those who are less than you. And devotion makes you closer to those who are greater than you. Loving kindness, which is a part of Bodhicitta, makes you closer to everybody equal to you. Therefore, this dualistic gap is superficially bridged. Superficially, I say. Getting closer is not non-duality. Now, once this is achieved, then the practice comes into life. You just have all the compassion that is necessary, you just have all the devotion that is necessary, and then do nothing and just sit home and have devotion and compassion, and nothing is going to happen. And you imagine you're just sitting in your home, full of devotion, full of compassion, not doing anything. You imagine you would be quite a nuisance to the rest of your family. So we have to practice the Dharma. I say, I wanted to make all sentient beings to reach Buddhahood. That's very easy to think and say. And I wanted to make everyone, including myself, to become Buddha. That's very easy to say. That's wonderful. But we have to do something about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to do something about it. So that is what we call practice. Practice. So whatever you received from your beloved Guru, you have to put it into practice. The practice have many kinds. Prayers, activities, meditation. People ask me, sometimes even they make programs which have very strange titles, how to practice Dharma in everyday life. They think it is a very smart title. But that is very strange, because if they don't practice Dharma in everyday life, where on earth they're supposed to practice Dharma? Where are you going to practice Dharma if you don't practice in everyday life? Where? What do we have except everyday life? So Dharma have to be practiced in everyday life. So by praying, by doing rituals, by doing meditation and by doing whatever you can to serve the Buddha and serve the humanity. And doing all of that happily, joyfully, with honor, not with a long face. No? Yeah, not with a long face. You should not like yourself to have a long face. You should smile a little bit. No? Nothing will go wrong. Smile. From time to time. Be happy. For Buddha's sake. Be happy. Nothing wrong to be happy. Nothing wrong to be nice. So be nice, be happy. And if you can, be funny too. It is nice to be funny. Yes. Life is funny. And we think of anything, no? Everything is funny. Very funny. Yes. In this world, from the most privileged to the most underprivileged, they are after one thing. They call money. You know? And they are after it. But then, what is money? It is created by us. You know, we created it for tens of thousands of years because money just wasn't there. It wasn't growing on the tree, no? We have printed it in the press. And we put numbers on it. And then, now, we are drinking our own soup. The soup that we have been cooking for tens of thousands of years, now we are drinking it. So without money, you have nothing. You can't even get a scoop of ice cream without money. You know? You can't get a roof on your head without money. We think we are smart. We are not. We are not. We are very stupid. We are more stupid than birds. We are more stupid than dogs. They don't have money. They don't need money. They don't need passport. They don't need visa. They don't have borders. No? And they are very smart. We think we are smart. We make borders. We make all of this. And in order to do that, we kill each other. You know, we kill each other by the thousands. And we think that we are really great heroes. And jump here, jump there, you know, do this, do that. And actually we end up with a border. Now we want to go out of it, we need a passport. To get the passport, we have to deal with the bureaucrats. You know? And in order to go anywhere, we have to pay. Birds fly. They don't have to pay plane tickets, you know. But we have to pay. We have to pay very heavily. We can't blame anybody. This is our own doing. So when we look at the samsara, it is funny. Everything in samsara is funny. But whether it is funny or not, we are trapped in it. We are trapped in it just like a leopard in the zoo. You know, a leopard, a tiger, a lion, who have claws, who have teeth, who have strength, is caught in the zoo behind the bar by this inferior human being. And these inferior human beings even charge tickets at the door to have a look at these mighty animals. No? And without a bar, we will be a piece of cake for them. So to see all of these things make us feel really funny about the samsara. When you see the fallacy, you know what is fallacy? Okay. When you see it is funny, that is the fallacy. When you don't see that, you're very serious. You're very serious. Everything is very serious. Oh, this is very serious. But there's nothing very serious in the samsara. There's nothing. Everything is a joke. Honestly, it's true. So, when we see the fallacy of samsara, then we are not against the samsara. But we will not die for samsara. That is what we call true renunciation. You don't like samsara, you go against the samsara, you dump the samsara, that is not renunciation. There is another form of you go against this for that. You know, when Prince Siddhartha left Paris, he did not leave against the kingdom. Even when as he was leaving, he had a last look at his prince and his queen through the door. He had a last look, and then he went. They're asleep. So he did not go out against them. He did not abandon them. He renounced them. Renunciation is for the sake of his son, sake of his queen, sake of his father, sake of all the people in the kingdom, and the sake of all the sentient beings in the entire universe. For everybody's sake, his own samsaric privilege, which is right in front of him, he renounced them. So, when we see the funniness, meaninglessness of the samsara, then we will not be influenced by the samsara. So, I'm quite sure you're not going to become monks and nuns. I'm not trying to make you monks and nuns. I have no room here, you know. all space filled up. I have so many little monks, you know, some of them, 2 or 3 of them sleeping on the same bed. I have no room, so please. Yeah. So I'm not trying to make you monks and nuns. I'm not trying to make you renounce anything, but at least should see the fallacy of the samsara. Therefore, you will not be consumed by your samsaric interests. You will not become the slave of your attachment, slave of your anger, slave of your jealousy, and slave of your pride. You will not be. You will be master over your anger, master over your attachment, master over your jealousy, master over your ego. You should be your own master over all of these desires. And you can only be this when you see the truth. When you don't see the truth, then you try to pretend you have no attachment, you try to pretend you have no ego. You know, this is pretending. It doesn't mean anything. You are lying to yourself. I give you a story. There was a great master called Patrul Rinpoche in Tibet. Not a high lama. High lama by definition of rank, you know, rank. No rank, you know? No rank. Yeah. But very great master. Higher than many high lama in realization. And he lived in very, very, very simple kind of setting. And all his disciples lived under the trees. it is something like a Christmas tree in that area, and they just bend the branches down and live under it. So it protects them from wind, protects them from snow. It is very nice life. So he had thousands and thousands of disciples. Patrul Rinpoche. This was sometime not too long ago, but before we had the crisis in our country. Before that, so Patrul Rinpoche was teaching, and one day one of his disciples came to him and said, "I really appreciate very much your blessing, so that now I have no more anger. One defilement I managed to get rid of. Anger, no more." He is very, very, very appreciative of that. And he bowed to the Patrul Rinpoche, and he doesn't even wear a robe. He just wears kind of something to keep him warm, that's all. Then the Patrul Rinpoche know that this man is actually cheating himself. It is his ego. And he thinks he has no more anger because nobody made him angry. If nobody made you angry, then you will not be angry, you see. So then the Patrul Rinpoche told his most trusted attendant, closest attendant, he told him, tomorrow when I have the teaching and all the disciples are gathered there, then you should get up and tell in front of everybody, my tsampa bag, you know tsampa, to eat? Tsampa bag is missing. And I suspect that person. Actually, that person who says I have no more anger, he was from a very, very rich family. Very, very rich family. So you don't have to steal anything. Then, next day, all the disciples are gathered, and Patrul Rinpoche is sitting on a throne made out of cut earth. In Europe also you have this very nice grass growing on the earth, so you cut it nicely. It is like a brick, It's about this thick, and top is grass, bottom is dark earth, very solid, very nice. We even make houses out of it in our country. So he sits on that kind of throne. You don't have a wood carved throne or gold, cement throne, or just earth throne. So he sits on it. Then, as he told, his attendant did that. Then it was a winter day. So in winter, when you breathe, the kind of steams come out of your mouth, right? Because weather is so cold. So everybody can see that on that spot where that person is sitting, actually steam is coming out from his head. But he got so angry. And then he got up and he said, "How dare you accuse me of stealing bag of tsampa? Why should I steal a bag of tsampa? My family owns 10,000 white and 1,000 black. That means 10,000 sheep and 1,000 yak. You call rich people millionaire or billionaire or something. So over there they call 10,000 white, 1,000 black. That means millionaire. You're like a rich person. It is standard. Nomadic people, that's standard. So my family is owner of 10,000 white and 1,000 black. So how dare you accuse me? Then Patrul went, clapping his hands and laughing, laughing. Then his attendant sat down, and he's just only one who's standing there steaming and steaming. So he knew now what's going on. So then he just sat down very quietly. And I think it must be a very, very long time before he came and saw
Patrul Rinpoche again and thank him for overcoming his ego, his anger, overcoming his anger. So therefore, when there's no circumstances,
no defilements. It doesn't mean you're free from it. So, by practicing Dharma, by practicing meditation, then slowly, slowly you will transform. And you become a good, clear, happy person.
And after that, your duality becomes less and less. So finally, you will merge your Buddha nature and the Dharmakaya of Buddha will become one. That is what happened to Milarepa. And that is what happened to all of our great masters. And why not? It will happen to you. It will happen to you and me as well. But it will not happen without doing anything. In order to reach what Milarepa has reached, at least we have to do what Milarepa has done. You know? We cannot cheat on that. We cannot take the matter to the court and win the case and reach enlightenment. You know, it wouldn't happen. And we cannot play enlightened and become enlightened. No. We only become enlightened when we become enlightened. And it takes everything that we have got. Why do I say that? Because all the rubbish that we have has to be purified. All the goodness that we have to be harnessed. And our potential has to be cultivated so that we become what we always has been. Ultimately, we always has been Buddha, but relatively, we don't know that. First of all, we don't know. Secondly, we don't believe.
Therefore, it takes a long time. And forcing ourselves to pretend that we believe is not a belief. That is what I call fanaticism. You know, you just bang your heads against the wall until you forget everything, and then you think, now I'm a believer. That's fanatic. You know? That's fanatic. It doesn't mean
You are free from everything. You just forgot everything. Right? So now, last but not the least, this is the most important thing. That is, your beloved masters giving you transmission. And transmission of living lineage. The teaching that your gurus gave you are not invented by them. It is manifestation from Buddha. And they have received from their guru. They have unshakable devotion to their guru. And they upheld and cherished this living lineage, pure lineage. They did not contaminate it. And that uncontaminated, pure lineage is transmitted to you. And you should uphold it and cherish it and practice it. Then, your fortunate karma who brought you to such a great guru, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about him. Okay? Don't look at me with big eyes. Look at me with honest eyes. Yeah. So fortunate karma brought you to them, and this fortunate karma you should not waste. And you can harness this, you can use this for the best of your capacity by doing your best to practice the Dharma that you have received. And no one can expect better than your best. I know about West a little bit, because I went to the West many, many times for 20 years. So I know West a little bit. Sometimes you have this ability to make yourself objective to yourself. You're very objective people, you know. So when you become so objective, then you yourself become objective to yourself. Then you look at yourself as if you're looking at somebody else. This is a very big problem. When I heard the first time in the West, people said, I hate myself. I can't imagine. How can that be possible? Because my problem is I like myself too much. Yes. I like myself more than anything. You know? So that is my problem. So now here this person comes and says that I hate myself, that is my problem. You know? I was scratching my head because I don't know what's going on. But slowly over the years, I have learned that it's not really you hate yourself. It's actually you like yourself more than I like myself. So that you bend backwards. You know? Like when you don't want it to bow down because of your ego, then you bow back. Right? You bow backwards. So what happened here is people, they become objective about themselves and they look at themselves as something else. And when they don't match their expectation and their performance, then they are disappointed. And then they hate themselves. I understood this. It took me a long time. I must be very slow in my head. It took me a long time. Now I understand. So this way, I think, following the lineage, genuinely upholding it, and not breaking the samaya, and doing your best to practice, doing your best. Don't expect you to do something that you cannot do. You should know your limit. And your limit today is different from tomorrow. Your best today will be different from tomorrow. If you have done your best this year, your next year's best will be a little bit better. And you do your best in next year, then your next year's best will be a little bit better. So you should accept your shortcomings. You should accept your strength. You should accept your weakness. Then you can overcome. Otherwise, until you accept your weakness and your shortcomings, you can never overcome them. How can you see what you don't see? So you have to see first your problem. There's so much choice in the modern world, so we have a huge variety of choices, so it becomes a habit for us, so that we choose not to look at the bad part of ourselves. We choose to only look at the good part of ourselves. You know? We should look at both sides of ourselves. We should appreciate our strength, our quality, and also we should accept our weakness. Then we can use our strength to overcome our weakness. So, wish you all my best and take care of yourself and be happy and don't carry long faces Smile from time to time. If you can, laugh from time to time. Okay? That's a promise? Okay, good. Good. So let's dedicate today's Dharma activity for the benefit of all sentient beings to reach the Buddhahood. Thank you.
Thank you.